David, among the many aviation simulation solutions we've found here on the floor of ITSEC 2008, we see the Air Mission Trainer, in this case the rotary-wing variant. Tell us what you're trying to do here with this device.
So the Air Mission Trainer is designed to fill a niche we see in the market for mission training as opposed to flight skills training. Rotary-wing platforms are a central part now of a lot of activities our military and civilian customers conduct. As an example, in IED route clearance, there's very often air vehicle flying to provide overhead view. Having a training system that can interoperate cost effectively with the other family of training systems the ground community use is something that's been difficult to achieve in the past. A lot of the higher-end flight simulators are standalone devices. If they network and interoperate, they do so with another one just like it. Whereas a system like this, which uses game technology, uses a common hardware platform with our driver training solutions, and uses essentially a very cost-effective hardware solution, we think fills a market where people can interoperate together to learn how to integrate vertical lift or fixed-wing aircraft with ground forces to provide force multiplier, which is supposed to be.
Cirrus Design's Vision SJ50 single-engine personal jet offers exceptional fuel efficiency, flexible seating for up to 7, advanced avionics, and all the Cirrus safety features you expect, including the Cirrus airframe parachute system. With its detailed design, the Cirrus Vision is technologically advanced, yet engineered to be simple to fly, to allow owner pilots more lifestyle pursuits than any other personal aircraft. Learn more about the Vision SJ50 at cirrusdesign.com.
Where is this device being used in the field?
Right now the device is just coming out of development, and it's actually going to go to Europe in the new year, where it's going to be used to conduct training for pilots, rotary pilots coming out of the former Eastern Bloc. One of the interesting challenges is taking these folks and raising them to the same proficiency and performance standard as the current coalition pilots. And once they do that, we can bring them in and have them deployed to Afghanistan, Iraq, the places we need them, and do it safely so they're not a hazard to ongoing operations. They can interoperate effectively with the current forces out there and the Western platforms.
Now, do I see from the sticker that this is an early adopter of Microsoft's ESP technologies?
I believe it was the first aircraft ever to fly using a 6 degrees of freedom motion base and Microsoft ESP, yeah. We're very proud of that particular partnership. The system really would have been much more difficult to create without what ESP has done for us. And over the years we've played with Microsoft a number of times. I actually used it in my postgraduate research back in the UK. And we realized the product was now ready. Its database is rich enough, its graphics are rich enough. The tools exist to allow us to put our platforms, our models, our databases in, and it just seemed like the obvious thing to do.
Are you going to be utilizing V2?
Yeah, we're keeping pace with Microsoft's development. Okay. The system that ships to Europe will go with V1, but yeah, we'll continue to upgrade it as new additions come out. We're partnering very closely with a lot of the folks in Microsoft.
Okay, we are cleared for our approach. Have our Garmin GPS set up to fly the LPV. And look, here comes the glide path. You're probably wondering how we can intercept a glide path when there's no ILS on the field. Well, hey, that's the beauty of WAAS GPS. No ILS, no localizer, no problem. WAAS gives us full vertical guidance even without ground-based navigation. Okay, next you're probably wondering why there's spit all over your side of the windshield.
Now, one would assume that this is adaptive to a number of airframe configurations. How do you accomplish that?
Well, there's a couple of different ways. I mean, obviously in software. Right now, in fact, what's flying behind me is an OH-58 cockpit flying as a Black Hawk. So if the physical hardware fidelity is not a serious requirement, we can do those kind of techniques. But you'll notice at the bottom side of the cabin there's a pair of forklift tongs. The system is designed so we can pull that cabin off and in 30 minutes put in a new cabin if you need the specific fidelity of the hardware of your platform of choice. And we're partnered with a European helicopter manufacturer that will obviously be providing some of that input for the work we're doing over there.
What airframes are you ready for now?
Right now, from a hardware viewpoint, we have the 58. There's a Bell Trouble 2, I think, that we could bring into service. We're taking the 58, flying in this configuration over to Europe, where it will operate as a MIL 8 and a 17. If it, in fact, delivers what we think it will from a training requirement, we'll obviously then step up and develop the platform-specific hardware for those platforms.
And where does this technology go from here?
It grew out of our common driver trainer product that we have here in the for the U.S. military, and I think what you'll see is a richer set of platform capabilities. You know, right now this thing doesn't do weapons, for example. You know, we know how to model it very simplistically, but the more complex weapons you'd see in an Apache or I don't know, even some of the more heavily armed Black Hawks, I think you'll see some of those developments. It will always stay convergent with Army products like OneSAF. It can interoperate right now with the Army's family of constructive and virtual simulations. I think you'll see an increased use of game technology. As an example, last year we did some work where we had a first-person shooter on a laptop that drove into the fight in the back of a Stryker, a common driver trainer, and flew out in the back of the virtual helicopter, the AMT. So, you know, I think you'll see a lot of that kind of thing happening more and more, possibly door gunners, and, you know, to just keep building up the attributes of the system.
David, thank you very much.
My pleasure.